You're listening to Inside Real Estate, your source for all things mortgage and real estate related. The show that brings you all the hottest topics and insights directly from those who know it most. Now sit back and enjoy the show.
You know, people think it's a podcast, so it's like easy. You just get in here, you can record whenever you want. And the reality is it's actually much more complicated, right, Jessica? We got like time.
Yeah, there's a lot of preparation that goes into it. You're planning, you're scheduling, you're coming up with content.
And we go live. We don't do editing. I mean, we don't do a lot of editing. We don't like cut us up. And when things don't go right, it kind of throws a wrench and stuff. So we're not live today, Sal. Mm-hmm. Are you okay with that?
Yeah.
I mean, you look good, though.
Thanks.
So we're not going live. And we had guests that aren't answering their phone calls. They're from they're Tanya Eberhardt and Michael Carr. We'll see. Oh, I might have been getting a call. That was Michael Carr and Associates. So that might be them. So we're going to see if we're going to have them on.
I like it.
Yeah. So, you know, you never know what's going to happen on the show. Oh, here they are. We're going to just put speakerphone. Hey, Michael.
Hey, yeah.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. We're going to call you back in about 10 minutes. Are you okay with that? And we'll get you on air?
Absolutely. We're sorry for the mix-up. It was on our calendar at 1, but I'm on a different conference with Tanya. We'll be ready in 10 minutes.
So I'll call back this number in 10 minutes, all right?
Sounds great.
All right, sir. Bye-bye. And
Sounds very Southern.
Southern is shit. Yeah. So
I like it. I like it too.
So okay, at least we got part of the show going. So yeah, I mean these guys are kind of cool. They created this thing called Brand Face. They're really big on branding and creating a name for yourself in the industry as a real estate agent. They've written books. They've got like a whole 10-step process. So I want to talk to them, you know, because we do that a lot. We talk about brand a lot. I mean, brand's pretty important in our business, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Show so fucked up right now. This whole thing's fucked.
Let's talk about something not real estate.
What do you want to talk about?
Let's
talk about what we do. Let's talk about the market, real estate. Let's keep this thing going.
All right.
You guys are like, podcast sucks. Come on.
All right.
I love you.
Well, otherwise, cancel this thing and re-record it. Come on.
Yeah. All right. So here's the deal. So the good news is the market's really hot right now. I mean, super hot. Interest rates are super low. We've got this trade war going on with China, which is only getting worse. Like today, they're like, yeah, we're going to put tariffs on your stuff. And then we're like, we're going to put tariffs on your stuff. So, I mean, I don't know where that's
very
going.
one-sided.
How do you figure it's one-sided?
China has all the power. I mean, think about Americans buy
which is why
everything from China.
Which is why
it's very one-sided.
We're trying to kind of change the balance of power right now, right?
But they have all the power in this tariff thing.
How do you figure? Because they have all the products, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, everything we buy is from China. Like this phone I've got a Samsung. That's from Korea. Like whatever it is, right? We buy we import a lot of stuff. But anyway, so the whole point is what's going on in the market is there's a lot of instability. Bond market's going down. Rates are going down. And actually people are buying houses at a pretty good clip right now. So you marry those
people
two things
together.
together.
Houses too.
People are selling houses. I mean, Sal, you're seeing this. I mean, we're seeing a lot of pre-approvals right now, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people selling too because you're getting good money on your dollar right now for your house.
Right. And, you know, with the tariffs and, you know, it affects a lot more that we don't see, right? Materials to build things of that sort, which, you know, drive the prices of whatnot. So it's like, you know, there's always a market for used or existing versus new, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like cheaper at times to buy a new car or build a new house than it is to buy an existing one in that neighborhood, right? Or close to that neighborhood, especially in like those big developments.
Yeah.
Right. Like you can live across the street in the already existing neighborhood and pay $400,000 for, you know, a house of X value or X square foot. Right. And then across the street, you can build a new one for like 50 grand more.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of new construction happening now, but a lot of people but one thing, there's a cost in that, like sod and sprinklers, and there's other things involved when you build your own house.
Yes.
Right. So it does add up. So some people are like, either way, the market is actually just really healthy right now.
It seems like the market's immune to everything that's going on. I mean, my wife does not follow real estate. She doesn't follow anything that I do at work.
Right.
And we're driving around last weekend and she's like, there's a lot of houses for sale right now. Like out of nowhere. And I was like, yeah. It's like the market is not phased by everything that's going on.
But if you were going to sell, now's a good time to sell, right?
Absolutely.
You're getting good money for your house. The house values are there. Now, if there's a downturn, that could change, right?
Yeah.
Your house, you might lose some value in your house. So people, I think, are seeing value for selling right now.
Yeah. Well, it's two-sided, right? I mean, if you're going to sell and buy and values are lower, it's probably a good time to buy.
Right.
Right. So if it's a good time to sell right now, you have to buy at a higher value as well. Right. So it's not always, but it's often even. Right.
Yeah.
You see more of the purchase agreements in that initial process than I do. Have you been starting to see multiple offers, anything like that?
Oh,
yet?
yeah. It's crazy.
It's already getting
lots
there?
of appraisals coming in a little short.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Not a huge amount, but, people are guaranteeing the value over.
Already?
They know it's going to appraise low going in.
Really?
Right? The listing agent, the buyer's agent, and they're either the seller is asking the buyer to guarantee the difference, or the buyer is, that what happens, and they always say, let's cross that bridge. Well, everyone knew it was going to appraise low to begin with. It's like a crossing your fingers, hope to the stars it comes in, right?
Yeah.
And often it doesn't. And once in a while it does, just depending on the other sales.
So it sounds like it's a repeat of last summer. Do you think it's going to be a repeat of last summer?
Well, I mean, I think that this summer, last summer, the summer before, it's all similar, right? When there's a lot of buyers out in the market looking to do the same thing, which is buy X house, and there's only, an amount on there that's finite, right? There's always more buyers than sellers in the past few markets, right? So past few years markets. So you're always going to run into that, right?
I don't think it's my personal belief. It's not as bad as it was years prior, but it's pretty.
Just getting started.
Yeah, it is just getting
It's
started.
May.
It's not even June.
Right.
And it is crazy.
I'm shocked
there's a lot of
I'm
houses.
shocked that it's already so similar and it's only May.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
true,
I had a buyer who gave $10,000 over and guaranteed it on like a $200,000 house. I mean, that's a strong offer,
That's
right?
a really strong offer.
And she lost out to one that was a little more risky, they said.
Whoa.
So who knows what that meant, right? But it's like, yeah.
It's back to being creative. Real estate agents out there, if you're listening, winning. That's where you get your worth, right? Right now, it's selling a house right now is probably not as hard as getting a buyer into a house.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Selling a house right now, you put your house on the market, there's going to be a lot of interest if it's decent. But if you're a buyer, you need a good agent to negotiate. You need a good agent to kind of tell you, like, listen,
you have to get creative. I saw one the other day. It was like, we'll pay, because there's a lot of discrepancies in listings and their size, right? Because an agent isn't often an appraiser. And the way that these homes are appraised is a lot different sometimes than how they're listed. For example, a bathroom in the basement is not considered a bathroom, right? So you get all of a sudden it goes from a
bathroom
3-bedroom
below grade, but it's not the same
right.
rate.
But when it comes to above grade square footage, the way you should be listing a house, a 1-bed or a 3-bedroom 2-bath now becomes a 3-bedroom 1-bath. The comps all change.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, you see a lot of agents do that.
Yeah.
All the time.
Or the square footage adjustments are off.
Yep.
And I've seen one the other day that someone was saying, well, we'll pay X per square foot. Right. If the actual measurements come in different, that's what we're paying.
Right.
And it did. It came in different, and they ended up getting the house $15,000 cheaper. The seller agreed to it. It's kind of like, man, wouldn't you get that measured before you accepted that offer? But nonetheless, I mean, that buyer's agent got creative and ended up saving his buyer money.
Yeah, dude, we're back to, you should always get a really good agent, but it is so important to pick a good agent right now. There's so many, unfortunately, in our business, there's so many people that just do this on the side, that having someone that does this on the side. Aunt Tilly.
I gotta beat this Aunt Tilly.
Aunt Tilly's not a great agent.
No,
she's
but
a
I still
great
wanna
aunt.
meet her.
She's a great aunt, though. She cooks well.
And people, listing agents, some fail to realize that, like no matter what your offer is, it's always that, well, we've got other offers on the table. Are any of them cash, waiving an appraisal?
Mm-hmm.
Are they? No. Okay. Well, they're going to have to get an appraisal too, and likely you're going to run into the same issue because the comps you sent me are trash.
Right. They're not even comps, they're listings.
Yeah. So it happens.
Isn't that funny? Like, we get, the comps, and they're like these houses that haven't sold yet.
Well, and then you got to pull the takeaway. All right, send the mutual release.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
And, okay, we'll come down.
Well, that's the thing, going back to their listing is different than how they're appraised, because the listing, they look at the current market, what things are listed for, and the activity, where an appraiser looks at what's actually sold and what if people pay
they
for
can
these
do a
houses.
market trend towards,
So it's different.
What's happening with the listings, but they can't use them as their main comps. It's tough.
You can't fight the landscape. The landscape is what it is. You got a lot of agents that are like, oh, this is bad. What about... You can argue it all day long.
The only thing you can do is ask for appraisal waivers. If people are willing to pay it, it's going to drive up the values.
All right, so we should get these people on the phone. So they created this thing. where they help real estate agents brand themselves. It's called Brand Face Real Estate. They've written books. They've got a whole thing going. It's Tanya Eberhardt and Michael Carr. We're going to call Michael Carr right now and get him on the phone so they can tell us a little bit about, how they help their agents brand themselves. Let's see here. Can we hear that? Yeah, we can hear that. All right.
I can hear it.
Let's see if they answer.
Hello, it's Michael.
Michael, how are you? You're live right now
Good.
with Inside Real Estate. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Great. Do we have Lindsay on too? Tanya, or no?
No, she's in a different city. Are we able to call her?
Yeah, we can patch her in. Do you want to patch her in? Why don't you go ahead and patch her in? We'll wait for you.
Okay, let me get her now.
All right. So these guys are interesting because we talk about brand all the time, right? Brand is super important in our business. Unfortunately,
Brand for the company, your personal brand.
Brand for the company. And how do you develop that? It takes a lot of work to create a brand.
But you're also, whether or not you're putting effort to it or not, you're creating a brand no matter what.
Good or bad.
Yeah, good or bad. Generally, if you're not focused on it, you're creating a bad
So
brand.
who do you think, like in general, has a bad brand? Like
I'm not going to, that's...
no, I don't know. Like Kmart. Kmart's brand went to poop, right? And nobody went there anymore.
Yeah, bad.
Right? Target's got a pretty good brand, right? Right.
Mediocre. Yeah.
No, I'm talking in general. I'm not
Target.
talking. Yeah, I'm not talking in like Mercedes-Benz. They've got a pretty good brand. They've built a good brand
Disney
because they've done good
has
work.
a great brand.
Disney, they've got a good brand. But it's all what, like, if you can do one or two, right? You can have bad experiences and people, you will create a brand whether you like it or not.
100%.
Whether you like it or not.
Well, I think a lot of it's who you want to target.
Yeah.
Right? Like Mercedes isn't necessarily advertising or making their brand faced as like a economy car, right?
Right.
And with that being said, some people believe that or want that, right? And they buy a used one that's out of warranty, it's old, and it has the issues, and those are the people who probably give it a bad name, right?
Yeah, you've got to define who you want to be. Are you guys on, by the way?
That's a no.
That's a no.
Still waiting.
All right, interesting. So yeah, no, you're right though. Like, you're gonna create a brand regardless, but you also have to define who's your target audience, right, Sal?
Mm-hmm.
All right, like for us, it's like it's funny. Like we talk about the client a lot, but ultimately, real estate agents are really our target demographic. That's who we cater our brand to because they're our client as well because we want to do a good job for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we decided early on to make sure that we were going to be the best lender for our real estate partners.
Yes.
Right. So let me see, Michael's not on. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. So yeah. So they
just keep going.
Yeah, we just keep going, I guess. So they did. They wrote a book. So it should. Oh, he's calling me now. Mike.
Hey, maybe we've got this fixed.
We got it?
Let me see if I can get her merged in.
Okay.
This will work. Modern day technology. Tanya, with us?
I'm with you.
There we go.
Hey.
Woohoo! Yes.
We got it done. Barely.
Tanya, Michael, how are you guys?
Oh, doing well.
Great,
How are
great.
Yeah, modern technology. So we were just talking about you guys and how you guys are focused on helping real estate agents create a brand for themselves. You created a good process by which to do that. You guys have written books. You've got a whole system in place for that. And obviously, we think it's very important. I think brand is huge in our industry, right? So do you want to talk to the audience a little bit about Brand Face and what it is and what it entails?
Absolutely. So Brand Face is really helping real estate agents differentiate themselves. And we do so through personal branding. And really what's going on today in the industry, as you guys, is no surprise to anybody out there. There are hundreds, thousands of agents entering or re-entering the industry every day. So it becomes more important than ever to really stand out. It was always important, but it's more important than ever now because not only do you have so many agents, but there are so many marketing tools and platforms out there that agents have to market themselves on. And yet, if everybody markets themselves the same way, using the same scripts and templates and all of that everybody else is giving them to use, then the consumer just gets desensitized by all that. So we teach them to do a 3-step process we call the 3 Ds: define, develop, and display. So we define their unique point of differentiation. What is it, that one thing about them that they really want to get out there to be known for that sets them apart and at the same time attracts their ideal customer? Then once we determine what that differentiation is, we move into development of the brand. What does that look like top to bottom? Photos of them, brand colors, logos, brand messaging that will allow them to communicate very clearly what sets them apart. Then once we get all those puzzle pieces in place, we move into display, making sure that that new brand is displayed correctly and consistently across all of their everyday marketing platforms, all their marketing platforms, period. So in a nutshell, that's what we do, that define, develop, and display.
That's awesome. So, and Tanya, I mean, you were selling vacuum cleaners door to door at some point. So talk to me how that
Kirby's?
I don't know. Was it Kirby? I don't know what it was, but you were going door to door, right?
That's a cardinal sin there. That's a cardinal sin.
No.
It was Electrolux.
Electrolux. All right. Yeah,
I'm still a little sensitive about that.
I get it. No, I totally get it. So, it'd be like you bring it up someone else.
You.
So no, I mean,
yeah.
that must have, like, I mean, you when doing through that, like, how did that experience set you up into a situation where, you know, you transition into understanding brand, right? Because you're going door to door, you're knocking on doors, you're selling a product. So talk to us about how that kind of shaped who you are today.
Yeah, that's a great question to start with, because first of all, not everybody you meet sells vacuum cleaners door to door for 3 years and pays most of their way through college with that.